politicians in Illinois, of course, do not want to address this because this is very bad news. $11,000 a year on Social Security is the average amount. The high pension in Illinois is $379,000 a year. Of the top 100 pensions, you have to have a pension of at least $171,000 just to get on the top 100 list. The top 100 pensions average $204,000 a year.
Who gets pensions like that?
That's the amazing fact. Out of the top 100 pensions, only one is a former politician. 94 of the top 100 are educators, K through university.
How does this happen?
Pensions are directly related to salaries. They're either 75 or 80%, depending whether you're university or K through 12, of their final 4 years' salary.
Now wait a minute. If I'm making $100,000 a year, if I'm a nice rich guy, we'll say I'm doing that, my pension is still, $30,000 a year. That's less than 1/3 of my salary. What would a teacher making $100,000 a year, what would they get in pension?
Their pension would start at about $75,000 a year.
Whoop, that's I'm quick on fractions. That's 3/4 of their last pay they're getting in pension.
Now it's going to be about $2.5 billion this year. In 2045, it'll be about $28 billion. And you can go to thechampion.news and you can see the top 100 pensions. 2 superintendents in Illinois in 2008 made more than President Obama's salary. If it was for the kids, it would be going into books and classroom materials and better education. It's going to the people who run the schools. Last year in 2008, we had a superintendent retire with a pension of starting at $238,000 a year at age 56. Now, if she lives her expected lifetime, which is 30 years at age 56, her pension will be in excess of $500,000 at that point in time. Her total take over these 30 years will be in excess of $10 million.
In my own school district, 220, there are well over 100 teachers are making over $100,000 a year.
As the salaries go up, the administration, as you say, superintendents and other administrators don't really care because they have to make more than the teachers make.
Yeah.
So the more the teachers make, the more the administrators make. In Illinois, we have an example of a teacher, an art teacher, who made $196,000 for 9 months' work.
This says Rembrandt, maybe?
Yes, it must be Rembrandt. So he's making $21,000 a month, not counting the pension contribution that you and I and everyone else in Illinois were making, which adds up to about another 40% of that. So he, in effect, had compensation in excess of $250,000 to teach origami to 10th graders. Now, if your art teacher makes $196,000 and the superintendent says, well, I ought to be making $400,000 because I'm a lot smarter than the art teacher.
The last time I looked into it in this district 300 here, the driving instructor made $120,000 a year.
94 driver's ed teachers in 2008 made more than $100,000.
Which means their pensions are going to be real dingers too.
Their pensions will be worth somewhere between $2 and $3 million cash value, 401k value.
And when they retire at age 55, since they're now well-trained driving instructors, they could go back into the driving instructor business in private industry and maybe make $30,000 a year?
Exactly right. The driver's ed teachers making in excess of $100,000 a year are probably making 3 times what a private sector driver's ed teacher makes.
What's the reason for that?
Because all teachers make the same money. That's part of the negotiation. Whether you teach phys ed or whether you teach physics, you make the same amount of money.
Woof, 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 woof. Have they gamed this thing? How do you have a union that allows people to get at one end of the thing making well over $100,000 or $200,000 a year, and yet the teachers making sums that at least haven't ballooned into the stratosphere?
Well, it's called tenure. Since you can't fire anybody, they stay there forever. If you stay there for 35 years, the state actuaries say your pay will increase on average 7% per year for 35 years.
7% a year.
Right. So that's going to up their starting pay roughly 10
The cost
times.
of living generally goes about 3% a year.
Or less in the last 10 years, right?
Yeah.
If we outsourced driver education to the private industry, we would probably save roughly $100,000 per teacher per year. Remember, in the old days, driver's ed was an outside third-party process.
Yes.
The
yeah.
unions talked the politicians into bringing driver's ed into the schools because, again, that adds teachers. Every new subject adds teachers, adds to salaries, adds to pensions, and of course adds to union coffers.
How are we going to break the grip of these people that are abusing all of the ordinary citizens of Illinois in order to buy the loyalty of teachers by promising them a distant increase in salary?
In Illinois, in the last 12 years, the teachers have donated over $35 million to politicians in Illinois, just in Illinois.
Ouch.
Blagojevich received $1.7 million from the teachers union. They were his biggest contributor.
How do they get by with paying some of these teachers these mammoth salaries and paying others rather a great deal less? Not that they're humdrum, but there's an awful difference.
Well, the guys at the bottom know that eventually they're going to be the guys on the top. The teacher just coming in at $40,000 a year knows if he just stays there for 35 years, he's going to be making, well, in today's dollars, he's going to be making $400,000 in 35 years.
I think that's dumb. I don't pay more for a loaf of bread just because I've been buying it longer. Folks, I got a copy here. This is the Illinois Blue Book put out by the state. A membership in any pension or retirement system of the state, any unit of local government or school district or any agency or instrumentality thereof. So that means everybody in the state that works for the state, including teachers, is in an inviolable contract. They say, shall be an enforceable contractual relationship, the benefits of which shall not be diminished or impaired. Diminished or impaired. Now, supposing we don't have the money there to pay the pensions, those pensions are going to get diminished.
No, sir. Taxpayers are going to get diminished.
It says here, or impaired.
Taxpayers will be impaired.
They'll get impaired.
Diminished and impaired taxpayers is what's coming down the road for all Illinois citizens.
Are we really stuck for life for making up for all of the mistakes of these goofy politicians?
Yes.
Well, there's something wrong with that. Is there any way I can get out of this, moving to another state perhaps?
That's what's going to happen. That's going to happen, and Illinois is already losing tens of thousands of people every year.